Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just a few days we will be doing another installment of a home edition of Poetic License. But I realized that just recently I joined a group, a Facebook poetry group about books and poetry. And on their cover, across the front of their page, is a spread of open books. I have to show this for these guys. I have to show it for you guys because it made me think of this book that I haven't read from in a very long time from Scar's publication. This is called She's an Open Book. She's an Open Book. And so as a prequel to Poetic License, which is this Sunday from 3:30 to 5:30 Central Standard Time, I was going to do some live readings of poems from this book, She's an Open Book, from Scar's Publications, precisely because it's got the open book layout that is like a Facebook poetry group that I just joined in this past week or so, and I saw the cover image of it, of this open book, and it just made me think of this cover so much that I thought I would share poetry with you for it. And here in Austin, Texas, I had to do this early because it's 9:30 in the morning Central Standard Time. It's already in the 80s. It's going to be 90 something today, so I figured I'd better get my readings out of the way outside before it gets too unbearably hot here already. Love the weather, love the weather, love the weather. But I thought I'd share with you some poetry, so I'm just going to start in from the beginning and start with poems like this one called Floating Away with the Tide. I always thought I was the center of the action, the one with the witty one-liners like bubbling champagne with people hanging on my every word. I suppose that's how I'm forced to think of myself. But I come to these gatherings that are bubbling with conversation and walk over, listen for a bit, try to crack a joke. Can't think of a joke? Make a funny face, anything for the reaction. But fine, you make your joke, they react, they laugh, bask for a minute, because that group you try to butt into quickly close their circle again after you try to enter to pop their bubble. Because now you go into the water to join the bubbles that contain all that air just above the water. You keep trying to stick to them, but all you end up doing is floating away with the tide. One of the first poems in this book, She's an Open Book, with a cool cover on it, which I got inspiration from a poetry Facebook group that I just joined in the past week or two, so I thought I'd share some poetry from it for you. This one is called, I love these birds here, by the way, this is great. This is called Faith Comes Only. You made your choice, and I went home all by myself. And you went home with your faith. I hope your faith keeps you warm at night. I realize something. Your faith comes only when you have nothing concrete to hold on to. Nothing to rely on. Nothing concrete. Apparently, you only have faith when you have nothing else. Oh, here's a funny one for you guys. This one is called How You Know When You're the Wrong Height. And, you know, I'm a tall Chicagoan, but I come and I hear about tall Texans when I move here, and all I see are a bunch of Mexicans who are nearly a foot shorter than me, and I'm thinking, who is tall around here? You've got to be kidding me. So this one's a funny one, I guess, called How You Know When You're the Wrong Height. Went to the unisex washroom after drinking decaf coffee with vanilla at Chicago coffee shop on Chicago Avenue. Used the washroom, went to wash my hands. There were 2 6-inch square mirrors tacked on the wall over the sink. I looked at my reflection in the 2 mirrors. The lower mirror showed a vision from my breasts to my waist. The upper mirror showed a view of the top half of my forehead to the expanse of space above my head. After washing my hands, I stood on my toes, saw my eyes, caught a glimpse of my mouth, smiled at what I found myself in the world. And then I started to laugh before drying my hands and leaving the unisex bathroom. I know I'm taller than the average person, but I'm probably about an inch taller than the average height for men. And it is that disparate, these mirrors, you've got to be kidding me. This next one is called, let me find one for you. This one's called Our Couple in Love. And I'm talking about the birds here, so this might be appropriate. This is called Our Couple in Love. I watch the birds circle from my back door, thinking of our cat wanting to hunt the cow, waiting to lunge after a shake at the treetops. I think of the pigeons on the city sidewalks downtown that seem to want to test us as we walk by, hope for scraps of bread or your refuse for food. I think of the two mallards that would come by our home. We'd watch the mallards every year. You know they mate for life, look for joined couples. In the beginning of this season, I'd see one mallard couple and then one mallard following, and I'd think, get your own girl. But one mallard couple always came by our home and enjoyed the grasses, walked together alone. We'd watch these two so in love, made for each other. And one day, he came home to tell me that a car on the main road hit our happy couple, and nothing felt right for some time. So I try to think of these creatures meant for flight, and I think of how they're so misunderstood. But at least our couple in love died together. Holy cow, maybe I should get some short ones for you guys. This is a short one called Exhaling. I wish I had a smoke to, do the part for you. I'm exhaling cigarette smoke as if I'm exhaling the weight of the world. This one is another short one. We've got a few on the page here. This one's called Menu Poem. You were raw and sweet, like white corn and cherry tomatoes, but you left me your Parmigiano. You left me shaved, raw and bitter. I have one more short one that I'm going to share for you here. This one is called Translation. These are all mirroring haikus. Exhaling, no, they're all Twitter-length pieces. This one's called Translation. This is only a translation. I cannot adequately explain the torture and the trauma. I do not have the words. Alright, I'll give you maybe one or two more for you in this reading. This one is called More Believable That Way. I walked through the empty cathedral, stopped, turned, looked back inside the two-story church at the two rows of many sets of rows of seats, each with pads before them to kneel on, and slats behind each row to hold the song books. Then looked to the back of the preaching wall, stepped up, walked to the back wall, looked up at the 20-foot tall mural of Jesus. Good thing they painted him so tall, so everyone could see him on both floors, even in the back row. I mean, you need a big sign to remember what you're giving up your Sunday for. A good thing they painted him so tall, more ominous, more glorious. And it's easy to make him more believable that way. I will share one more poem with you guys, and then I might come back with some more poems from this book that is called She's an Open Book from Scars Publications. If you want to find out about it, I believe it's available at Amazon. This is a poem called All I Can Capture. I've read the New Testament, tried to plow through the Old. I would read my sister's prayer book at night in bed just before sleep. Because if you do it then, just before you're drifting to sleep, maybe that's when he'll sneak in to catch you. So this is what I was supposed to believe. So I read and wait for God's hand come down and take me. I waited for that metaphysical lightning bolt that night after night I would still turn off the light and sleep with only me to guide me. I decided to separate myself from the world, placing a camera between us, to look through my viewfinder, to capture everything, create nice, glossy prints. I'd look for God in the refracted light coming down from the broken stained glass windows, delineated with lines of lead from the desanctified church. But I should have known better to look for God in a desanctified church. Like he would go there. Pulling the camera to my eye, I would photograph the giant mural of Jesus, stand before the looming church organ, tap a few keys, listen for the reverberation before walking away. Then look for divine majesty in the mountains, try to climb one of the Alps through the snow in my sandals, photograph the Tetons from my driver's seat in my car. But all I was doing was looking for God in plate tectonic shifts. But I look away. I couldn't find him, even though I looked. And I looked for the chasms of the Grand Canyon, even in Bryce and the arches. Take pictures. Hope for something more divine than nature's beauty to come to me from deep down below. I'll even walk down the canyon if he won't come up to me. So I'll go to him if he's hiding. You want me to meet you halfway? Fine. I'll even look up to the sky, photograph the clouds, the moon, but even the moon is slipping away as its orbit from Earth pulls it away from me an inch and a half every year. Even the heavens are getting farther and farther away from me. So I've gone toward the Arctic Circle, photographed the dancing, prancing, majestic beauty of the Aurora Borealis, stood bundled, shivering from the frigid Alaskan air. But I know better. Geomagnetic aberrations are beautiful, but not godly. I've even photographed Michael Jordan playing basketball or George Michael singing on stage, but whenever I'd see pop stars and sports icons thank God for their successes, I'd never catch him on film. All I can capture is human talent and ability. I've looked to the majesty of nature. I've looked to the majesty of man. I've taken my camera, pointed, shot, tried to catch him, tried to get a glimpse of God, a shadow, even an illusion. But I couldn't even find that. You know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think I'm going to take a break and then do another set of reading for you guys. I hope you enjoy readings from this book. She's an open book from Scars Publications as a preview for the Poetic License Open Mic, which is this Sunday from 3:30 to 5:30 Central Standard Time. There's a Facebook events page that's just been set up for it that will be public for anybody to post anything onto. And thank you for sharing poetry. Thank you.